I just wanted to make a quick video where I go over my philosophy on how to design games I've come up with. It's loosely inspired by some other design philosophies I've seen around, and it's also pretty intuitive stuff, but I feel it really helps to have it set in front of me, sort of codified, makes it easier for me to design funner games. So the first of these three pillars, as I call them, is the loop. The loop is where you take something fun and you do it over and over again. Like if you've ever had a ping pong paddle and a ball and you just hold your hand in place and you just tap the ball up a few inches, tap, tap, tap. You keep bouncing the ball up and it's kind of weirdly engaging. It's almost fun a little bit. And that's kind of the feeling I look for in the base loop mechanic of a game. Like a shooter, you point and you shoot, point and you shoot. And it's just hand-eye coordination things, they tend to give that feeling. Also platformers, you run and you jump, that's fun. Also number accumulation, like in RPG, you hit things and numbers go up, get XP, get gold, whatever. Number accumulation tends to give that fun feeling a little bit. So that's the first, the loop, and then the second is the progression, which is combined with the loop. So like, let's say you have a top-down shooter, where all you're doing is you're aiming and shooting over and over, but let's say there's waves of zombies coming at you. At the end of the wave, you get access to a store where you can buy better guns and upgrades for your character. The majority of the game is still exactly the same. You're still aiming and shooting, but you have some sense of progression, which makes it more rewarding. And this is pretty intuitive with how humans work. Like if you're a runner, if you're running, it's fun to move fast. You're doing the same thing over and over with your legs. You're just moving them in the same pattern. And it's kind of fun to move fast, but it's really the progression that is addicting that people like, where I ran a mile in 10 minutes, and then a year later I can run it in 8. Then a few years later you can run it in 6. And that progression is what really keeps you doing it over and over. And then the third pillar to go with this is the difficulty curve, where the game gets harder the more you play it. And it starts out with a flat difficulty, a tutorial that just introduces the base mechanics one at a time, and then it scales up and you get into the meat of the game where complexity increases, difficulty increases, more challenges, until it finally gets to the vertical line, which is the final challenge. It's the culmination of everything that's been presented before. It requires the player to use everything they've learned to complete it or defeat it. And then, so there's more to it, but that's the simple, basic explanation of them. You take the loop, you do something fun over and over. You take progression, you get better the more you play. And the difficulty curve, the game gets harder the more you play it, the longer it goes on. And I think of the loop as the engine, progression as the wheel, and the curve as the road. And that's my philosophy on game design.